Well, I was going to test out some software and make a video with my LAN party machine here, but I started up to discover something really awful. The board is dead. Yeah, my motherboards are just dying left and right. This motherboard was on its last legs anyway, though, because the onboard LAN had quit working a while back. So really, it was on its way out. The other one that died in my server, that was a completely unexpected, unacceptable type of thing. But this one, I think, was just yeah, I think this one was just a slowly dying, probably due to the board revision. So I don't know what revision this is actually. What revision is it? Doesn't show. Revision. No, this is a late revision, 1.4. So my earlier revision board is lasting longer. That's unusual. But yeah, dead motherboard. So you know what this means? I'm going to harvest the CPU out of here. This has a dual-core Celeron in it. I think it's an E3400, if I remember right. So I'm going to harvest that out of here and stick that in my server because it's a 65-watt processor, whereas the processor in the server right now is an 84-watt single-core Celeron. So a dual-core Celeron will help with just basic things like when I was changing permissions around with the other Celeron, I've noticed that it went really slowly and mashed the CPU. The dual-core Celeron, I think, should fix that, so I can stick that in the server in the meantime until I, upgrade that to a board with more SATA. But the death of this board gives me an excuse to harvest the CPU out of it, so that's what we're going to do. This is the ES2L here that died, and I think I found the reason why. These electrolytic capacitors, all of them are KZG capacitors. Now, I don't know which series of these is bad, but KZG capacitors I know tend to go sometimes. I don't know what series this is. This board I think is from 2010 or so, sometime around then, so it's about 3 years old. I don't know if back then they were running bad series or not, but that's the only theory I can think of that as to why this board may have cooked itself. The first thing that happened to it was that the LAN chipset died, and then I leave this to sit for like half a year, then I started it up, and yeah, dead to the world. Well, yeah. It resets itself, I know that much, but I get no video out of it, and I get no flash of a post from the PS2 ports, so something went wrong here. Don't know what, but I harvested the processor off of it, and we're going to use that in my file server to upgrade it a little bit. This is an Intel Celeron dual-core E3400, 2.6 gigahertz, so it's basically the same speed, except that this one fits a little bit better because it has 1 meg of cache, it's an 800 megahertz front-side bus. So it actually fits the board a little bit better. It's not a Prescott chip, it's an actual Wolfdale Core 2 Duo core, only it's in Celeron form. So, and these are actually good Celerons. The only Celerons that really sucked all that much was the exact one I was using in the file server. So this one will be a pretty good upgrade. Since it's not a Pentium 4 based Celeron, this one will do absolutely fine. And it'll probably crunch numbers better when changing permissions and things like that when it comes to Linux. So I will install that in that board. Alright, I'm going to install the Celeron into this computer now, replacing the really dog-ass slow single-core Pentium 4 based Celeron that's in there now, which actually uses more power than this dual-core one, which is the reason I'm getting rid of it, just to save about 20 watts or so on power. But one thing I've noticed about this board, the capacitors are different. They're all Nichicon. What series is this? Nichicon HM series capacitors on this board. So the newer revisions of the ES2L, this is revision 1.0, and the other one was revision 1.4. So clearly the older revisions have better components on them. I guess as the boards age, they just cheap out on them. But this one is a little bit different. It has the yellow accents on it. So, there you have it. So, I'm going to put the CPU in here and then put it back in the server. And there you have it. And it's up and running with the dual-core Celeron E3400 in there. So that should do a much better job until I get another board for the server one of these days. I was thinking of getting a board with some more SATA on it, like with 6 SATA ports instead of 4. So obviously I'd have to build a whole new system for that. So eventually I think I'll probably do that. But for now, I think this will be fine. So I'll leave it as is. Considering this is an earlier revision of that board, I think it'll last quite a while longer. So that was an excuse to upgrade the server CPU because I had a board failure. So there you go. You know, that's what you do when a board dies. You make the best out of it. So that's what I did. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was I thought it was a little bit boring, but you know, either way, it's just another thing that happened. Another one of those journalistic type of videos. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.